9 events when humanity came to the brink of nuclear annihilation. Throughout history, humanity has come close to nuclear war on several occasions. The power and potential of nuclear weapons have made these events extremely dangerous. Here are 9 major events when humanity came to the brink of nuclear annihilation. 1. Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 was one of the closest moments to nuclear war during the Cold War. The Soviet Union's placement of nuclear missiles in Cuba escalated tensions between the US and the Soviet Union. Both sides made mutual threats, and nuclear war seemed imminent. Fortunately, the crisis was diffused through diplomatic negotiations. 2. World War II and Hiroshima-Nagasaki, 1945. On August 6, 1945, the United States dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, and 3 days later, another atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. These bombings marked the first use of nuclear bombs in history, leading to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. This event demonstrated the immense threat nuclear weapons pose to humanity. 3. Soviet Union's false alarm of NORAD, 1983. In 1983, the Soviet Union received a false signal from the US early warning system NORAD, indicating a nuclear attack had been launched. Due to a malfunction in the Soviet defense system, a false alarm was issued, bringing both nations to the brink of nuclear war. Luckily, Stanislav Petrov, the officer in charge of the Soviet early warning system, recognized the error and prevented disaster. 4. Czechoslovakia Nuclear Alert, 1984. In 1984, a military radar in Czechoslovakia mistakenly detected a launch of Soviet nuclear missiles aimed at the United States. After further investigation, it was discovered that this was a false alarm caused by weather conditions. 5. Korean War and Nuclear Threats, 1950 to 1953. During the Korean War, both the United States and the Soviet Union threatened to use nuclear weapons. The Soviet Union considered using nuclear weapons to intervene in the conflict, but ultimately did not act on this. Similarly, the US also contemplated using nuclear weapons in Korea but did not proceed with an actual attack. 6. Chernobyl Nuclear Disaster, 1986. The Chernobyl disaster in 1986 involved a nuclear power plant explosion that led to a massive radiation release, affecting not just the local population but the entire world. Chernobyl demonstrated the dangers of nuclear energy and how such a disaster could occur in non-war settings, further highlighting the destructive potential of nuclear technology. 7. Pakistan-India Nuclear Tensions, 2001. In 2001, escalating tensions between India and Pakistan over the Kashmir region brought both nations close to nuclear conflict. Both countries possessed nuclear weapons and exchanged threats. This standoff became a significant concern for the world, as the possibility of a nuclear war seemed increasingly likely. 8. Soviet Union's plan to send nuclear weapons to Syria, 1973. During the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, there were reports that the Soviet Union planned to send nuclear weapons to Syria. This raised the possibility of nuclear weapons being used in a regional conflict. However, the plan was never executed. 9. US plan to send atomic bombs to Cuba, 1961. Before the Cuban Missile Crisis, in 1961, the US government considered sending nuclear bombs to Cuba. The purpose was to deter the Soviet Union from placing missiles in Cuba. Fortunately, this plan was never put into action, and the crisis was eventually addressed through diplomatic means. These events show the power and potential dangers of nuclear weapons. Humanity must focus on diplomacy and control mechanisms to ensure that such events are not repeated.